Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fire Emblem podcast. This is Season 5, Episode 3. I am Blazer, and with me I have my co-host, Shu. What's so funny?
Oh.
We haven't even started yet, and you're already cracking up, Shu. What is this?
Yeah, no, I'm just so excited to be here.
Yeah.
I really am.
I think
You can
that's our
tell-
intro. I think that's our
you can
intro
tell-
right there, Shu.
Yeah, that's our intro. Yeah, no, you can tell how much we enjoy doing this by how often we make these. We make these all the time. Like, we can't get enough.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking, okay, so basically, context, you and I were discussing, like, an intro for the podcast. And then, without thinking about it, I was like, for the first time in a while. And now that I go back to it, that's basically our already existing intro that we say.
Yeah. That's it's our bit.
It's just, I don't know, it's not the best intro. Like if we ever do this more, we'll have to eventually lose out on that intro. I'll have mixed feelings about that.
Hopefully by then we'll have said something else that, is kind of funny.
You're right.
Maybe. I wouldn't count on it, though.
Probably not, but hey. I mean, we'll try, as we always say. So, What's the topic for today?
The topic for today is Nintendo Switch, specifically how it pertains to Fire Emblem.
Oh, not Pokemon? Because I hear there's a new Pokemon game for the
Yeah,
Switch.
well, Blazer, the thing about that is that I don't care about the new Pokemon game.
Oh.
I know, that's a controversial opinion. I'm not, okay, disclaimer, before you turn the podcast off, I want you to hear my next, statement. I don't dislike Pokemon. I just don't care about it. There's a big difference, a huge difference. In fact, me and my coworker, we played through the entirety of Pokemon Emerald a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
While we were supposed to be working. So I
Sorry,
totally don't. Yeah, I don't dislike Pokemon. I just don't care about it that much.
I mean, that's fair. You know, I was gonna go. I was thinking ahead of time, like, how should I like share this on Twitter? I was like, well, everyone's playing Pokemon. Not everyone, but a lot of people are playing Pokemon. I was like, hey, just pull this up while you're playing Pokemon.
Yeah. Seriously.
Now, listen
By
to
all
our
means.
podcast. I mean, let's
Yeah.
be real. Like, Pokemon's the kind of game you can basically play with one hand. You just like, especially if you set the L button to the A button, which is like an option. You're basically just using your thumb to like move your character around, and then you just press A to battle. Because let's be real, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And like that's
just like chess.
Yeah.
Just in one hand, honestly.
Exactly.
You're lucky. You
That's why
guys
people
are
can
lucky
play two
that
chess games at once.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you guys are lucky that we didn't. With our freaking brain factory over here trying to figure out like how do we get people to listen to the podcast. Let's stay topical. How about we make a podcast about how Fire Emblem could be mixed together with Pokemon, and we'll just rake in those sweet listeners. But you guys lucky we didn't do that. Because
I mean, that would have been easy money. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm not even against being a sellout. So if you want to do that for our next podcast, like, I'll consider it.
I'm gonna have to pass on that one. You can do that one by yourself.
I mean, that's fine, dude. Let's be real. If I don't do some podcasts by myself, we'll only do one like twice a year anyway. So, all right, though. Back to the Switch. So, Pokemon aside, there's not a whole lot we know about the Switch. I mean, even the Pokemon game is just a rumor, and there's been like a billion rumors, and rumors are just that, rumors. So don't take them too seriously. There's no rumored Fire Emblem game, but we just watched like the trailer again. And we were just thinking, with all this like Switch talk and Switch hype, like, how would a Fire Emblem game be on the Switch? Like, what are the chances of us getting it and all that jazz? So what are your thoughts on that, Shu?
Yeah, I think speaking before the podcast, you and I kind of came to the same conclusion that there's a better chance, just being that the idea Nintendo is going for here is that the Switch is supposed to be a hybrid between like a home console and a portable console, and that in itself leads us to believe that we're gonna have a better chance of seeing a Fire Emblem game on the Switch going forward.
Compared
Considering Fire Emblem, what?
I said compared to.
Compared to the Wii U.
Okay.
Considering it's
I mean, go ahead.
No, I mean it's just like obviously. I mean, there are other reasons why the Fire Emblem did not end up on the Wii U, but I think it's just like even like throughout history, Fire Emblem made the most money when it was on handheld
Mm-hmm.
throughout its entire lifespan, and I think that in itself gives it a lot more likelihood to be on the Switch, considering it's not, even though it's made more money on handheld consoles, it has not specifically or primarily been a handheld franchise. Considering if you know anything about the pre-Game Boy Advance era, all those games are on Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
Right.
Fire Emblem 1 through 5 were all on that. Then obviously there's Fire Emblem 9 and 10. And I mean those were successful games in their own right.
Mm-hmm. I think
So,
FE9 did pretty well. I think FE10 was a little bit harder, but I mean you could say there's various reasons for that. So the Wii, I guess, not attracting kind of as many hardcore gamers in a sense. So maybe Fire Emblem kind of fell off a little bit there, or maybe because it was a sequel, maybe people felt a little like, not as welcomed. They're like, oh, well, I haven't played the previous one, that kind of thing.
sure.
No, but I mean, overall, I agree. I think that sales aside, there's probably some inherent bias from the creators that favors portability, and there's some, I think, bias from the players, because especially if you think about the West, we started with the portable games. FE 7 and 8 were both portable, and then FE 11 and 12 were also portable, even though we didn't get 12. But then also, when the series started selling a lot again with FE 13, and then now Fates, those games are all portable. And I think because Fire Emblem is a longer game, it's an RPG, it's a strategy game, it takes a lot of time. So the fact that it's portable makes it, a lot more approachable. You can, play while you're on the go, but it's not like an action game that necessarily takes a lot of focus. It is kind of the game where, if I really wanted to, I could, like, battle for a turn and then, like, close it and then, like, come back later. And, like, I might feel, like, slightly disoriented, but, maybe not. It's not like, maybe Smash or, I don't know, some other game where you don't necessarily want to just be, like, stopping in the middle. Fire Emblem, you can stop in the middle of a turn or, like, whatever it is. It's pretty convenient. It's a solid game for on the go, I think.
Absolutely.
Too bad that...
Blaze,
What?
Blazer throwing a little bit of shade at Smash Brothers on the 3DS there.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking, like, what other games. But yeah, it's unfortunate that despite that, I'm pretty sure you still haven't beaten Fates. Truth?
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to confirm or deny that.
I mean, come on, guys. You know what the answer is then, so...
No, you don't. You don't know.
It's an indirect. Shu has this pride, so he can't say anything. But, no comment is a comment within itself, so...
Oh, that's really profound of you to say.
Yeah. I tried, dude. I mean, I make podcasts. I gotta be a little profound once in a while. Aside from that, so I was looking online, because I vaguely remember this article I saw that was like, Wii U games, so expensive. It is HD development. It is console development. It's kind of expected that it's going to take notably more money to make a console Fire Emblem game than a handheld game. The handheld has a lot less power to run on. So even if you push the system, it still looks like a PS2 game, basically, or something like that. No offense. It's a portable game. That's just kind of what you expect from it. The screen's a lot smaller. You're not running a game in HD. So TLDR, the article says that a Wii U version of Fire Emblem would need to sell 700,000 in order to be considered a success. And that is according to Nintendo's Hitoshi Yamagami he's just, if you don't know him, he's just one of the dudes like behind Fire Emblem. So you can either thank him or blame him for the series, depending on how you feel about it. Uh, and so he said that in comparison, Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS needed 250,000 sales to be considered a success, which it not only reached but well exceeded. And it gives a sale number here, but I'm pretty sure that since this article, it has greatly surpassed that number and sold like well over a million, probably close to 1.5 million global. I'm guessing that like once Fates came out, it's possible that even more people got into the series, and I know Fates itself sold well. So I mean, basically, like with these portable games, if they need like 250K and they're selling like a million, that's like 4 times as much as they need. And basically, like every sale after once they break even is like extra like raking in profit, right? Um, and then you have, whereas the Wii U version, it's like, okay, you need 700,000 just to be like considered a decent success, and then anything after would be good. And I think that your point with the comparison to the Wii U is that like the Wii U was basically a flop, right? I mean, you know, unabated, honest, objective statement. Um, compared to other consoles, it did not sell that well. It was not uh, looked very fondly upon. Let's put it that way. Even if it had some great games. So like Nintendo themselves, I think, didn't have a ton of confidence to be putting series that aren't like Mario and Zelda and other such things on that console. Which is ironic that I say that because it still hasn't gotten a new main Zelda game. But that's neither here nor there. So how do you feel about that too?
No, I mean I'm in agreement, and honestly, I don't think that. Do you get the impression that there's a sizable faction of Fire Emblem fans that just freaking hate playing Fire Emblem on mobile? I don't.
I honestly don't know anyone. I know that people have asked for a Fire Emblem game for the Wii U, and like even in this article, it says that like that's the whole reason they made the article, and
Right,
that
right, right.
they announced like SMTX FE, which became that weird J-pop RPG spinoff. But
Yeah.
like that's not really what people wanted from a Fire Emblem game. I think that was Nintendo's compromise. They're like, we don't have enough money to build like a Fire Emblem game from scratch because like making all the HD models and animations for this is like super expensive. So like we'll give you like half a Fire Emblem game, and then the other half will be like a typical Atlas RPG. But that's not gonna satisfy like most Fire Emblem fans, right? And I think we kind of saw that. Um, so I mean, like no, like I don't really disagree, and I don't really think they hurt people. But that being said, I think there's still a lot to be gained from putting a Fire Emblem game on a home console. I mean, like, how'd you like FE9 and 10?
Oh, I mean, I liked them well enough. Honestly, I mean, okay, I'll be honest. They're probably not my favorite in the series, just because I never really cared much for the
Lagoose.
Lagoos. No, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I knew it.
It's not. It's not. I'm not saying they're bad
She was an
on
anti-furry.
on an objective level. I just it wasn't for me. I mean, that particular part of the game. I mean, I played them both and I beat them both,
I think
but
you mean subjective level.
what I say?
Objective.
Okay, yeah. Um, no, but I think, I mean, sure, I would have probably been very interested in a Fire Emblem game making its appearance on the Wii U just to see how it would play.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, who doesn't want to see Wii U? Who doesn't want to see a Fire Emblem game in a graphical style that is different than the one on the 3DS? I mean, that's just me. I really think that I would like to see him go in a more serious direction. I don't know. That's not either here nor there.
Well, no, I think it's fair to discuss it. It's Fire Emblem. I mean, it's definitely just two people's opinion, but I would be with Shu on this one, where the 3DS style doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, even once they added feet, I felt like the proportions were always just very off, and the way they walked and the way they run is very unnatural. And I just like, I compare it to like FE10 probably had the best 3D animations. FE9 wasn't its models weren't the worst, I guess, but the animation was very stiff. You could tell, like, okay, these guys have never done
Oh
like 3D
god,
animation before.
I hated those animations, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, but like once you got to FE10, it was like, like this is acceptable, right? Like this is solid. Um, so like I'd like to see something, I guess, in FE10 style again. Or I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be in that style, but nothing like too chibi or misproportioned. And I think the added level of detail and texture would be pretty cool. I mean, if they don't want to go for like a realistic style, they can always do something like cell shaded or more like artistic, right? I mean, have you seen like the new One Piece game, for instance?
Hmm.
One Piece Burning Blood, and I know this has nothing to do with Fire Emblem, but basically, if you just Google a screenshot, it's very stylized so that it looks kind of like an actual like manga. It's got this weird like cell shaded effect, but it looks kind of like drawn. And so like it's a PS4 game, and people expect a certain level of like graphic quality from PS4, but like it does a good job of like not looking old and like outdated, but also having like a somewhat cool art style. So basically, it's a compromise between like budget and like looking good, which I think is important with Nintendo. You know how they are. They don't like to make extremely realistic games because it's like expensive and like not their style. Um, and then like even in this article that I pulled up to bring it back up, it says like recently EA considered Dead Space 3 a failure because it did not meet a sales goal of 5 million copies. Now, I mean, this was a bit ago, but like Square Enix said the same thing about some of its games. Basically they put so much time and money into these games, they have to sell several million. Nintendo's thing is like, we'll try and make our games like look decent, but not put quite as much money so that it's a lot easier to return a profit. I think I'm totally okay with that if they do that with a Switch, especially because you're going to be running the game on a portable anyway, presumably at 720p. So like, I don't expect like super realistic, PS4 level, um, you know, quality of graphics, but something definitely more than you can do on the 3DS for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, pretty excited about the Switch, whether we get a Fire Emblem game or not, and I don't think we're gonna get a Fire Emblem game anytime soon.
No, I would agree. I don't know. Honestly, okay. Well, if you had to pick a date or a year, I guess, for the next Fire Emblem game released, what would you think? What would you put it at?
Okay, so I'm gonna go above and beyond the Call of Duty here, and not just
Oh
give you.
boy.
She's like, no, man, this is a simple question, all right? Okay, the answer I'll put. It's coming in 2017. I'll give you 2020. How about you?
Really, 2020?
Yeah,
Um, I think you'll see another Fire Emblem game as early as 2018.
for the Switch.
Oh no, I'm not. I didn't mean for Switch. I mean for in general.
Oh, in general. Oh, okay, in general. Sorry. I thought you meant specifically for the Switch.
No, no,
Maybe if I wasn't talking so much, I would have heard your question. No, in general, yeah, 2018 is pretty fair. I mean, I guess when did Fates come out?
no.
It came out this year in America, right? I mean, it came out in
Oh, yep.
2015 in Japan.
Right.
So honestly, 2017 is possible, but they would have to do it for like 3DS again, which would be weird.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And
That would be weird.
I would it be weird? Do you think that would be weird?
Because I feel like okay, the 3DS isn't dead yet, and they're still making games for it. Definitely more games than the Wii U, but I don't see it lasting so long where they'd want to be dedicating like what's now one of their biggest developers to building a relatively big game for that. Especially because it already has like two Fire Emblem games, one of which is like has three campaigns in it. So it
Hmm.
feels like it's already like fully saturated on Fire Emblem content. If they do make a third game, I think it's not gonna sell well, or it's gonna be in a weird spot like FE5 and FE8, where maybe even FE10, where like if you release it too late, it has like a less chance of selling well, I feel, or getting as much attention. So I don't know if that would be a great idea on their part. But if you say 28, then it's like, well, are they going to put on a new handheld and then we'll see a Fire Emblem game on that, or are we going to see a Fire Emblem game for the Switch right away? I mean, the only other major like series that they have intelligent systems is I guess Paper Mario, besides Fire Emblem, and like they do have other series, but you figure they're always working on at least one of them, right? As their two major series.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, we had this like discussion on how expensive development for home consoles is. So if they only have the Switch and they're phasing out their 3DS, do you really think they could get a Fire Emblem game out by 2018? We'll say in Japan, just because that's when the games they always come out in Japan first. We'll say in Japan by 2018 for the Switch, because I mean basically that's kind of the only option in my opinion. I can't see the 3DS lasting another year for them to make another Fire Emblem game for a handheld. I mean, it will, but it should be such a weird move.
That's it. That's an interesting point. I don't exactly know. I think it would be interesting to find out what we're gonna know about the evolution of Nintendo's handheld front, so to speak. What that's gonna be like, or like I don't know, say this time next year, because
Yeah,
I
will
could
it even
see.
exist though? Because
Yeah, no, that's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. Is it going to, or what are they gonna do next? Because
Is the Switch it? The Switch is the replacement. They're merging everything, like people kind of want
mm,
them to do. I mean, that's part of the reason why people are hyped on the Switch because they're like, well, great, now we get to see like all the games on one console, and just everything will just be like upgraded, awesome, unified, but we'll have like the best of both worlds, right?
interesting. I'd be interested to see if they can do
I mean,
that. I mean, I understand the reasoning for it, or the thought process behind trying to merge the two, because I guess Nintendo was just kind of doubling down. They figured out that handheld is kind of where their best bet is, but they obviously don't want to throw out their home console
mhm.
capabilities or anything like that. But I kind of want to hold the Switch in my hand and see exactly like can it be what the 3DS was?
Yeah, you're right. There's
And
also like the
I'm
price tag
curious. Yeah,
and things
yeah, and
like
that's
so like the thing with
that's a
handhelds is
factor.
like even in my family where like we don't have a ton of gamers, we still have like two 3DSs. I know in other families they'll sometimes have like two or three 3DSs depending on if the parents are gamers, if the kids are gamers. Now like with a home console, you rarely do you have more than one of a single like console in your house, right? It's just like you just hook it up to the TV and you share it, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so like it's gonna be a weird spot. Like are people gonna have like multiple Switches in the same family? Because I mean the console can be by itself, right? So like but then again it's like it's not pocket size and you have to worry about like the controllers and like I mean like you wouldn't want to like put those controllers like with the thumbstick sticking out and like
No.
it's kind of it's weird because there's no perfect compromise for like portability but like a good screen and all that. I mean like imagine like the gamepad, right? Like there's no way you're fitting the Wii U gamepad in your pocket.
No.
Even with like some of the monster pockets I have, that's just not happening. If I did it, I would look retarded, assuming it would even fit. So I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, and I mean, well, I remember because you mentioned that we watched the trailer for the Switch before we recorded this, and uh, I'm somebody that is excited for the Switch. I definitely anticipate myself getting one, but the way they portray it, obviously, and I mean, I'm kind of disposed against commercials in general. I just hate commercials. Um, that they definitely portray it as something. I mean, obviously they're showing off all the different ways you can use it, which I think is the coolest part about it. But they're also trying to show off this idea that you can like just pick it up and you can take it anywhere and people are gonna do that. And I mean, I'm watching these people like take it out at like an airport
It's
thinking,
questionable,
I
right?
I don't know if I'd ever see that. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Just like a storage, like I'd have to like keep this in my backpack all the time, and
Right.
like,
And I don't want to carry a backpack.
yeah, right. Like,
I try to eliminate this stuff in my pockets.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's. I guess like honestly, going to the airport is almost a situation more likely than usual because if I go to the airport, I might actually be wearing a backpack. But like going out places in general, I'm like if I'm going to someone's house, I'm not just gonna like casually take out the Switch from my pocket. It's not gonna happen, right? It's not that portable, right? Like it's portable, but it's not that portable.
No.
And like I'm not gonna like take like a dedicated carrying case because it's just socially awkward. So it is weird, and like another thing is that Nintendo's recently, or as they've like revealed the Switch, they've started calling it a home console. So you have to think like maybe they aren't giving up on the on handheld development, but then it like contradicts their earlier idea of like merging the development of the two systems. So like, is there going to be maybe like a Switch Mini that like uses the same OS and like the same development infrastructure, but it's just like actually portable? There's too many like if factors, I guess.
Right, right. And I'm going to go on record in saying that they should do that because I can definitely see them losing out on a lot. Like, I could see a lot of people that, I mean, in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they're still playing their 3DSs, even if there really aren't games coming out for it anymore and, you know, it's like there's nothing on the horizon, they're still not going to want to switch to the Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's necessarily a thing that the people that play the 3DS a lot are just going to start carrying
Right,
Switches
pick
around.
up. Right, it's not exactly the same. Right, it's
Oh,
not a full replacement, but it's good enough to like it's like 50% there. It's good enough to like grab a lot of people that wouldn't maybe pick up a home console otherwise. But yeah, I don't think it's a replacement. So it'll be interesting to see with Fire Emblem and its kind of its bias towards getting a portable games and portable games selling well to see if we'll have to wait until we get another portable system, or is it the, in my opinion, unlikely case where it'll get another Fire Emblem game for the 3DS? I mean, they already have the development infrastructure, like the engine, so it wouldn't be that expensive, but I still think it would be weird because if you look at the upcoming 3DS games, it's basically just like third party stuff that already released in Japan, and it's like getting localized like now, and it's like two
hmm
other games, right? So like there's no like big new like Zelda or Mario game coming out. The
no.
only like big title they had is the new recent Pokemon game, and they already had three Pokemon games on the 3DS. So I can't see another like major Pokemon game coming. Um, so that's why I guess I said 2020 for Fire Emblem. Like we got a lot of Fire Emblem recently. If they do make a Switch Fire Emblem, I feel like they'd be starting it around now, and it would take because they'd have to build it out from the ground up. We wouldn't see it until maybe 2019. Like give them 2-3 years, and then it maybe come out 2019 or 2020. Depending on how that goes. That's what sounds realistic. I guess 2019 is feasible.
Yeah.
That'd basically mean
I,
like 2 years of development, 2.5 years, and then like release it in like the fall of 2019 or something like that.
yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. This is not necessarily related to Fire Emblem, but just talking about this is maybe think about. Do you think that, let's say Nintendo does put itself in this weird position where they're trying to double down on merging their home console and their mobile gaming fronts together and trying to make it work? And it doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily pull it off. We still got, I mean, the Switch doesn't necessarily blow anybody out of the water. It's not selling a ton. People still carrying around 3DSs. Do you think that another game company could take the crown in the mobile gaming market? And pretty much, I don't really want to say this, but in this situation, they deal a pretty, like, damning blow to Nintendo in the process. Now, I'm saying this knowing that pretty much every other game developer's forays into the mobile market haven't been very good. I mean, I've always been a big fan of the PSP and the PS Vita, but nobody else is. So I don't
Man, you
know.
got one fan here. Count them, two.
Two? Oh, good.
No, I feel you though. Like, yeah, Nintendo's definitely had domination over the handheld market. Can I see someone kind of replacing that? It's funny because earlier today I watched a video where basically some dude is like some group of dudes or whatever is trying to like kickstart the quote unquote Switch killer, and it's like, yo, hold on, dude, like the Nintendo Switch isn't even out. You're trying to kill this shit, and like it hasn't even been like a month since it like got announced, right? Maybe it has, but like it's a little too early. And, like so they have a handheld that's kind of like the Vita, but it like plays PC games, and the concept's like kind of cool, but can it be a killer? I don't know, because in the end, a lot of Nintendo is its own games and its first party development, and what it does with the system. That's always been a lot of its appeal. So like even if the hardware is solid, you can have a lot of situations like the Ouya and other things where the games, the marketing, and everything else just isn't there, or maybe it's just the brand recognition isn't there. Nintendo's got a lot of loyalists where like even a flop like the Wii U still sold 12 million. Like that's a lot more than a lot of other consoles that you don't hear about precisely because they didn't sell anywhere near that much. Um, I honestly, I would say not within probably 4 years. After that, it's going to be tough to say. Like technology's developed so fast with flip phones to now smartphones. As I don't know why I thought of that, but like mobile phones are now like more powerful than the 3DS itself. So it's like if they had buttons, they could do a lot. Um, that's like one of the few things kind of holding them back, if that makes sense. I mean, that's why you don't play mobile games, right?
No, I don't. No, not at all.
So I mean, there's that. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like the mobile platform is just very suited to the traditional gaming experience, and I don't think that anyone can quite pull it off like Nintendo can. The closest thing is, like you said, the PSP and PS Vita, and like the PS Vita is a fun console, but it still couldn't do it because it just doesn't have like the killer apps or whatever you want to call them that drag people in. So yeah, I think even if they go for the Switch and it's not like a huge success, like you said, I don't think they'd get replaced, and I think that opportunity would be open. I think it would be hard to like quit and then get back into it if that makes sense. So for their sake, I hope if they do only go with the Switch, they manage to like basically make everyone's dreams come true. Because
Make
like at
it
this
work.
point, the expectations for the Switch are like super high. A lot of what people want is like wishful thinking. They're like, yeah, like I want like a new full 3D Metroid game, the new Zelda, a new 3D Mario, a new 2D Mario, a new Pokemon game, a new Pokemon Coliseum, and a
And I'm
Pokemon
still sitting
Snap.
over here with no F-Zero.
It's like, and yeah, I want a new F Zero, and it's gonna have like super good online, and like graphics are better than like all the other consoles, including the Scorpio. I'm just like, all right, like not all of this is gonna happen. You're gonna be greatly disappointed when this console comes out, but we'll see what Nintendo does, I guess.
Yeah, dude, I'm rooting for him because I like Nintendo, but I feel like they're having a hard time. Like, I mean, like you said, they have loyalists, but I feel like they do have a hard time maintaining a demographic that's gonna sustain them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, or meet any of their sales goals. It's like obviously okay, the Zeldas are gonna sell well, the Mario's are gonna sell well, but beyond that, what are they gonna do? Like, how are they gonna? I mean, you can't ride those forever.
You're right. You're right.
You really
No,
can't.
I think they realize that, and I think that's why like Nintendo's a company that's very conservative. So I think after the Wii U failure, they're like, okay, we need to like change things up a lot, which is why they're changing things up a lot with the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Including like with third parties. One of like the major criticisms with the Wii U was like third party support. It doesn't exist. Um, it will be interesting to see like are they going to try and go for hardcore gamers and like how is this going to tie in with the mobile game like the Fire Emblem for mobile is something I was thinking about. So like I don't know if IS is involved in that or not, but are they going to have like a weird like enhanced HD Switch port for that on this the Switch? That would, I can't really imagine it, but like that would be an interesting possibility. Or maybe we would just see kind of like a different version, like a 9.99 version, like a mini Fire Emblem game. I wouldn't really be a fan of that because I kind of like actual games, but
Yeah.
um, I don't know. There's so many possibilities, and it's like, yeah, who are they going after? You look at the trailer, like, what'd you notice about the demographics shown in the trailer? You're very astute, Shu, which I know you are.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's.
You didn't. What? What do you mean you don't know? Shu, answer the question.
I mean,
No, I mean, okay. So think about the trailer. Like, you saw like the dude at the beginning, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then like the girl later who like walked
Mm-hmm.
outside. And like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google like Switch trailer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what didn't you see, right? And like, what did all those people have in common compared to like the usual Nintendo advertising?
They were all attractive. Is that what's weird about it?
Not no, but that's not what I was looking for.
And these are not the type of people that play Nintendo games.
Yeah, very true. Basically, they're all like older people that like they're not like the usual like kids that you kind of see like watching it and playing Nintendo. They're definitely going after like an older, you know, demographic
Or like
that
people that are
seems
on the move, I think, is the general idea.
that too. Yeah,
Because these people, I mean, but these people don't look like people that play games anyway. I
that's
don't.
true. But like maybe that's the whole thing. Like they're trying to get these
Maybe.
people who don't play games like get into it, and they know like the Nintendo loyalists are like they're gonna pick it up once you throw on like the Pokemon, Zelda, and Mario, right? You don't have to worry too much about them as long as those games don't suck. It's more about getting like the other gamers and like the PS4 gamers and like the Xbox gamers that maybe they only play like a game or two a year or they don't play games at all or whatever it is and like dragging those people into it. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they advertise it and if I guess Fire Emblem will play a role in that and kind of getting because I mean Fire Emblem is definitely more of a serious series than like Kirby and such, even with its transition to like fan service and Japanese culture and all that. It's still more serious and less kiddie than other series, so it will be interesting to see like will that be one of their like core games or are they gonna wait for like a handheld or are they just gonna like go with the mobile Fire Emblem game? I seriously hope not because I'm like interested to see how that looks, but it's not a game that I'm gonna feel very compelled to play just because I'm not a mobile gamer. So
Hmm.
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know. I'm a lot less optimistic about this, and I really like the looks of the Switch. I'm starting to think that the market base for Nintendo is just getting smaller and smaller, and
Yeah, same.
I don't know.
This is
It's
this
tough.
is their shot. Like January 12th,
It is.
they're gonna have to do like a solid lineup of first party and third party, and like it is really good. I can tell you like right now, like guys, if you want to switch, like pre-order like whatever it takes because you're not gonna get it otherwise. Probably. Okay, let's be real. Like, Shio, I know you're not like me. You don't keep up with like every little thing that happens in the gaming industry, but
Only the interesting
Amiibo.
parts.
Do you remember the Amiibo shortages? You remember those, right?
Yes. Oh, I know. I actually do, because I have a bunch of friends that work at Best Buy. We talked about them all the time.
Right. Like it was awful. Okay, we don't need to relive that time of our life because we're going through our own problems right now.
Yeah.
But like it was awful. Okay, then we had like lots of other like different little like shortages like Xenoblade Chronicles Special Edition, Fire Emblem Special Edition, some other game Special Edition. Like games that just didn't get physical copies or whatever, limited. Like everything is like low on stock, high demand, or at least perceived high demand, right? As long as the demand is notably higher than the supply, it seems like there's high demand. And and the same thing happened with the NES Classic Edition or whatever they're calling it recently. Like, good luck getting one of those. Like, pre-orders or orders sold out in like 15 minutes. So my point is, the Switch might be a similar thing. I hope it doesn't backfire on them because it certainly could. But we'll see if it lives up to the hype. January 12th. I'm sure we'll have a podcast after that. Almost definitely to discuss that. Once we get more information. Right now, I guess there's too many things up in the air, but in a way that makes it more fun for speculation. No.
Oh no, absolutely, it does. But yeah, I don't know. The problem with Nintendo, I'm sorry, I gotta say this, but like the problem with Nintendo is that not only do they have to execute, like they do have to make good games or get good third-party titles on their consoles, but they also gotta make people believe it and actually buy it because because like everybody bought a Wii, and yeah. Everybody had a Wii, and everybody remembers how just flooded that console was with just dredge, just garbage, as far as third-party releases go.
Bins full. Literally bins full. You go to Best Buy, just literally bins.
Just trash. Just garbage.
There's your third-party games you wanted.
Really, and it left a lot of people that didn't particularly care for the Nintendo first party releases, kind of thinking, well, why am I gonna continue to buy Nintendo consoles?
The dark age of gaming. That's true. I mean, I know a lot of people like bought it, and that's nice, but I'm pretty sure they also sold it. After like I'm pretty sure finding a used Wii U was not very hard, and it's something that people don't really talk about because like once you buy a console, it's like, all right, like that's one console we sold. But I don't never see any statistics on like the number of consoles that are like returned. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like in that sense, for a lot of people, it might have been like, oh, I got my Wii U, I played like Smash and like Wii Sports, and now it's like 3 months later, it's like, man, like I don't have anything I want to do on this console. GG, I'm getting like $50 from GameStop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough, but
yeah. I mean, they have me, but I don't really count for anything.
I can't do it all myself, man.
Yeah, dude, I'd buy 8 million Nintendo Switches if I could, but no, I wouldn't. But
dude, you have so many parts.
I mean, at that point, I would just buy Intelligent Systems and start making better Fire Emblem games. # shots fired.
Ooh.
All right, I think that's a good stopping point. And end it with a couple of bangs.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, guys. Until next time.